Welcome back to Skin Deep Wellness Chronicles, where we explore the well-being of medical professionals beyond the surface. I'm Dr. Lakimerly, and today we continue our 5-part series titled Healing the Healers, a Journey to Self-Love. If you haven't already, I encourage you to listen to episode 1, where we laid the foundation for our self-love in medicine. But today, we're diving deep into something that holds so many of us back, the martyr mentality in healthcare. You know what I'm talking about, that ingrained belief that the only way to be a good doctor, nurse, or caregiver is to sacrifice yourself completely. In this episode, we're going to unpack where this mindset comes from, how it harms us, and most importantly, how we can break free from it without guilt. Let's start by defining what the martyr mentality actually is. It's the belief that to be truly dedicated in medicine, you must always put your patients first, even at the expense of your own well-being. It sounds noble, right? After all, we entered this field to serve others, but when this belief goes unchecked, it leads to chronic exhaustion, resentment, and even burnout. It's the voice in our heads saying, I can't take a break, my patients need me. Asking for help means I'm weak. I should be able to handle this on my own. And worst of all, it convinces us that our own needs don't matter. But the truth is, a depleted physician cannot provide optimal care. A burned out nurse cannot offer compassionate support. Sacrificing yourself doesn't make you a better healer. It makes you an exhausted one. So, how did we get here? Why do so many healthcare professionals fall into this pattern? For many of us, it started in medical training. We were taught to work through exhaustion, to push past our limits, to normalize sleep deprivation. It became a badge of honor to function on little rest, skip meals, to take pride in suffering for the sake of medicine. And let's not forget the culture of medicine itself. There's often an unspoken pressure to always say yes, to always be available, to never prioritize yourself. And when someone does set boundaries, they're sometimes labeled as not dedicated enough. But here's what they don't tell you. The best physicians are the ones who take care of themselves. The best nurses, the best healers, the best caregivers are those who have enough mental, emotional, and physical energy to actually show up fully for their patients. If you're still thinking, but my patients do need me, I can't afford to slow down, let's talk about the real cost of this mentality. Burnout. Studies show that physicians experiencing burnout are twice as likely to make medical errors. Emotional exhaustion. Constant self-sacrifice leads to compassion fatigue, making it harder to connect with patients. Physical health decline. Chronic stress increases the risk of heart disease, high blood pressure, and weakened immunity. Decreased job satisfaction. The very career we once loved starts to feel like a burden rather than a calling. And beyond all that, what about your personal life, your relationships, your happiness outside of medicine? If you're constantly giving, Who is taking care of you? Now, let's talk about how we can shift this mindset without feeling guilty, because that's the real challenge, isn't it? We know we need to take care of ourselves, but the guilt creeps in whenever we try. Here are 3 mindset shifts to help you break free. Number 1, replace self-sacrifice with sustainable care. Instead of saying my patients need me no matter what, try saying my patients need the best version of me. Rest, nutrition, and emotional well-being aren't luxuries. They are necessities for sustainable caregiving. Number 2, give yourself permission to set boundaries. Saying no is not neglect. It is self-respect. Your time off is just as sacred as your time at work. Start with small boundaries. Leave work on time. Take a real lunch break. Protect your personal time. Number 3, let go of the guilt. Guilt is a conditioned response. Challenge it. Instead of I feel bad for taking time for myself, reframe it as taking time for myself allows me to give more in the long run. Remember, prioritizing yourself doesn't mean you care less about your patients. Breaking free from the martyr mentality isn't about abandoning your patients. It's about honoring yourself as a healer. Because the world doesn't just need doctors who are always available, it needs doctors who are healthy, whole, and thriving. I challenge you this week. Do one thing to prioritize yourself without guilt. Whether it's leaving work on time, saying no to an extra shift, or simply giving yourself permission to rest. Take a step toward breaking this cycle. Next week, we'll continue our Healing the Healers series by diving into emotional resilience and mindfulness in medicine. We'll explore how to protect our emotional well-being and develop habits that help us stay grounded, even in high-stress environments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you struggled with the martyr mentality? How are you working to break free? Share your insights on social media using #SkinDeepWellness. And if this episode resonated with you, consider sharing it with a colleague who might need this reminder today. Until next time, take care of yourself because you deserve it. Be well, stay well.